Hey Pagan Perspective, my name is Cody and I am so excited to introduce myself as your new Thursday substitute host. I'm so honored to be a part of this collaborative project and to bring my own perspective to your questions and thoughts that you ask us. This week, the subs will be tackling some questions posed by Cara about New Year celebrations, as well as Kenny Williams, who asked us some questions about our path. But first, I really wanted to spend some time just introducing myself to you so that you all have a little bit of background. Stay tuned. Like I said before, my name is Cody and I'm 25 years old. I'm about 3 months away from completing my master's degree. Yeah, I'm so excited. My degree program is in an interdisciplinary field, predominantly social sciences, focusing on higher education and student development. I've actually had a really cool opportunity to combine my master's degree with my spirituality. I've been focusing on neo-pagan student experiences in higher education. So my research proposal that we have to do in order to graduate is all about that and designing a hypothetical research proposal to address needs of neo-pagan students in higher education and stuff like that. So I'm beyond excited to be able to share some of what I've researched as part of my literature review, as well as some potential implications and findings that could be really cool. So I hope to sprinkle that throughout my videos, both here on the Pagan Perspective and on my personal channel. To talk a little bit about my path, I've identified as some shade of pagan for about 11 years now. It's definitely ebbed and flowed over the years, especially as my priorities have changed and I've been in different phases of life. And now that I'm 25 and a little bit out of the young adult, entering adult phase, I've started to realize more about what I need and want out of my spirituality and personal practice. I started out, like so many, as a sort of solitary Wiccan, with my primary source materials being mass market Llewellyn books and the internet. In retrospect, I really floundered developing like a solid personal practice that I felt really good about. Though I really think a predominantly solitary practice is an awesome thing, it really just wasn't for me. I really craved the community and familial connections that came with sharing your spirituality with others of a similar mindset in a more intimate environment. This led me mostly to the internet. Where I was growing up and even where I went to undergrad was pretty remote, and there definitely wasn't many folks of pagan shades around, at least not practicing in groups. I eventually came across and joined the Kemetic Orthodoxy, which is a modern revival-ish faith of the ancient Egyptian religion. Some Kemetic Orthodox folks consider themselves pagans. Some really feel Kemetic Orthodoxy is more of the African diaspora traditions. Regardless, it really transformed my personal practice, showed me a lot of what devotion looks like to the gods in my own personal practice, and general connections to deity. So while the Kemetic Orthodoxy was amazing, I started to realize that it didn't have what I needed, predominantly a local community that I could interact with. This led me to finding Arndriacht Fane, ADF, which is a modern revival-ish, primarily US-based druid organization. I was able to attend a couple of high rites at a local grove, and my ADF experience really helped me understand mythology in new ways and understand how to better develop relationships with the gods and to better understand how to worship them in the context of my practice. When I moved to the DC metro area for graduate school, I really started to feel a pull for Wicca again. I really wanted the tradition and structure, and I kind of realized that I need some level of accountability and camaraderie, I guess, in my spirituality. So being part of a Wiccan group in particular was a way that I thought could really help me with that. And then I, in turn, could offer my own skills and abilities to a group. I eventually found a group relatively near me in the Bluestar tradition of Wicca. And if my teacher ever watches this, I'm sure she'll be happy to hear how I've truly felt like I've come home. Bluestar, while similar to British traditional paths in a number of ways, is different in that in addition to first, second, and third degrees, it has 2 pre-initiatory degrees for various reasons, but they're called dedicant and neophyte. I was recently dedicated this past autumn, and it's just amazing to feel like part of a larger family. Fast fun facts about me is that I absolutely love paper crafting, scrapbooking. I am a graphic design enthusiast. I really like playing around with aesthetic elements. I've been engaged to my fiance for a little over 2 years now, and we've been together about 8 years total. And interestingly enough, we actually met on YouTube. I do want to keep this video somewhat short, so I think I'll just tackle one of the questions. It was one that Kenny asked about whether we use magic or not, or what kind of magic. And I thought it was interesting because it made me realize that I don't really use any formal structured kind of spellcraft or magic. A lot of my spirituality is focused on worshiping the gods and connecting with the gods and developing relationships with the gods. And I think it's interesting because so many of my Wiccan friends or other pagan friends in general often are drawn to their paths because of spellcraft, because of that stuff. So I really like to see how folks of different interests and different ways they're pulled and pushed into their path. It's interesting. I do hope you'll feel free to leave any questions or comments below. You can also find me on my personal channel. There'll be a link below to that. On that channel, I mostly plan on doing like book reviews and talking about my path and fun stuff like that. So feel free to check it out. Until next time, blessed be.